Hello everyone, and today I wanted to talk to you about some more essential kit, and this particularly is around winter gloves. Now if you're someone who rides all year round, particularly through the winter, winter gloves are a really important bit of kit. I've had a number of different pairs of gloves and always struggled to find those ones that you can truly use when it gets to the really coldest weather. Plenty of gloves out there that are fine for spring, summer, autumn, and even this getting into the cold temperatures of winter, but to find a glove that you can use in kind of single digits, low down, almost at freezing level is really important. So today these gloves are the Rev'it Taurus GTX, and I've had these now, bought these last year, so kind of had 1.5 winters use out of them, and I have to say they're the best, warmest gloves that I've had. So let's just take you through and show you some of the features of the glove. So firstly, the materials here and all round, you can see that that is Cordura 1000D ripstop, which has a Teflon coating on it. You've got hard PU knuckle protection here, covered in super fabric. On the flip side, you've got goat leather on here with some additional extra goat leather patches on this part and also on the tips of the fingers for grip. And then here you've got some kind of suede leather onto it. You've got PU injected armour here in the fingers and also on the end of the pinky there. These also have these patches on each finger, which are compatible with touchscreen mobile phones and such like. So an iPhone, you don't have to take your glove off, you can use that, no problem. I also like the hard plastic palm slider bit here. So when you go down, as you can see, you normally go down and push against there. You've got that sliding protection. Also, as well as the Teflon coating, these are Gore-Tex gloves, so they are waterproof. And I can say to you that I've used these in the absolute tipping rain, ridden for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And yes, they get damp on the outside and you can start to feel that there's a little bit of dampness inside the glove, but certainly not wet in any shape or form. Take your hands out, fingers are nice and dry, which is really important, particularly when it's cold, because it means your fingers and your hands are not getting cold from the wetness. What I think makes these so impressive is their warmth, and that's they use inside a fleecy lining. The one that they use in here is Primaloft Gold, which is very good for keeping heat in, but quite thin so it's not too bulky in the glove. Other features you can see here, the zip. There's a 2 cuff process, so you can slip your hand in like so there, get that under your jacket and then pull this over the top of your jacket to make sure that you don't have that irritating thing of when water runs down your jacket, it doesn't go down into your hands, it kind of goes in between. And that itself inside is all Gore-Tex. On here, the wrist closure, it's got quite a clever little wrist strap here, which you kind of pull to loosen as much as possible. Then you slip your hand in, zip yourself up, and then on this side you just pull back like that, which you can see tightens, and then just pull across. And you can get quite a nice tight fit both around the upper arm, but also it's tight around the wrist area there. Shove the other one on. Right, you can see there, they're a nice good fit. They didn't take much breaking in, a couple of weeks of riding every day and they're nicely in, and now they fit like the proverbial glove. Really good and comfy, and they are super warm. What are the downsides to these gloves? Well, firstly, the price. they are on the more expensive side. These will set you back 180, 190 pounds to buy, which is really, really expensive for gloves. However, I think you can see they are real quality. As I said, they've had 1.5 winters riding out of them, a good few thousand miles in all sorts of weathers, and you can see they're still in very, very good nick. I've had none of the fraying of any of the stitching anywhere. The leather's worn in nicely. I mean, they still look good quality gloves, and you could be forgiven for thinking that not quite brand new, but not far off it. The other disadvantage with them, but you're going to get all this with thick winter gloves, is that they are a bit bulky. You do lose a little bit of feel through the bars and certainly on the levers there. It takes a little bit of getting used to, especially after you've switched from kind of summer gloves. But as I said, you get used to them, and I've tried on other warm winter gloves which are bigger, bulkier and thicker than this. So all things being considered, I don't think it's too bad. To get the gloves off, undo the zip, undo the wrist closure, pull the tab like so, and then just slide off like that. Now the fastening system works well, and you get a nice tight snug fit, which is really important to make sure you keep the elements out. However, another downside of these gloves is that this wrist area is elasticated, and it is quite tight. And you can see I've not got very wide wrists at all. My wrists are quite thin, which is good. But if you're someone who has got thick, chunky wrists, getting inside the opening here, even when this is pulled across, you can feel now some resistance just around about here, trying to squeeze wrist in. And then once you've got one glove on, certainly trying to get this one in can be quite a tight push. The other downside I have found with these gloves is that, say for example you've been riding, it's been raining, take your gloves off, stop at the petrol station to fill up with petrol or whatever it may be, your hands do get a little bit, I wouldn't say wet, but clammy and damp. This material inside here doesn't like dampness. You put your damp fit, it bunches up, and it's very then difficult to get your hands in, and you sometimes find that you get caught with the Primaloft Gold getting into the fingers down here, and it can be a right pain in the backside to get a glove back on comfortably and get your fingers nicely seated into it if your hands are a bit damp. Sizing wise, they go from an extra small into a 2XL size. I found that these came up a little bit on the small side. I've got some RST gloves where I take a large. I've got some Alpenstar summer gloves where I take an extra large. But these ones I had to go up to the 2XL size to get nice comfort fitting on my fingers. So what I would say is, if you like the look of the gloves and you think you might be in the market for some of these, you really do need to go and try them on and have a good feel around and make sure that you get your sizing correct on them. So I suppose the proof of the pudding, as they say, is, am I happy with my purchase and would I buy these again? And despite the high price tag, despite the narrow wrist, and despite the fact that sometimes when your hands are a bit damp, to get back into the glove is a little bit harder, I certainly would buy these. They're, as I said, the warmest gloves that I've worn. They're extremely comfortable and the quality is second to none. I've certainly ridden with these gloves for 2 hours at 0 degrees. Okay, on the cross tour, which has got handguards and with my heated grips on, but I've been able to ride for 2 hours and have feeling in my fingers and no sense of coldness whatsoever, which certainly I wouldn't get with any other gloves that I've tried recently. So from my perspective, I give these a big thumbs up. I'm really happy with these gloves. I certainly would recommend them. I'd have no hesitation of buying a second pair if I lost these or they got destroyed in an accident or something like that. They're warm, they're made of real quality materials, they've got a decent level of protection in for your hands all over, and if you can swallow the kind of £180 price point, then I think you also will be very happy with these. So I hope you found that useful, interesting. Had a good look at the gloves, as ever. Ride safely out there, keep it rubber side down. And if you have any questions or comments, please do put them in the comments box. I'd be very happy to answer them. So I'll see you soon. Thanks very much. Cheers.